Ain't got nobody to make me a theme song, so let's just do a video game. For this nanDEMOnai, we're checking out the demo for Champion of the Gods. It's a text adventure, but this is not the first time I've done a text adventure on this channel, so here we are. Also, it only gives you the first part of the game, as you can kind of see at the bottom there. The full game is $2.99 if this entices you, so prepare to enjoy my dulcet tones. There's more than one of them, apparently. And or get put to sleep by my voice. So, here we go. Champion of the Gods. Demo is on Steam, and there are words. In the battle to save your people, will you defy the gods? In an ancient world where myth is reality and fate is relentless, your destiny will lead you to secrets no mortal should ever know. Champion of the Gods is a thrilling 217,000-word interactive novel by Jonathan Valukas. Alright, we're not doing the whole thing, ever. But, where your choices control the story. It's entirely text-based, without graphics or sound effects, and fueled by the fast, unstoppable power of your imagination. As you fight your way through a harsh landscape inspired by Greek myth, you'll challenge monsters, soldiers, and even gods. Win allies with your humility, your haughtiness, or your powers of deception. Enjoy gifts from the gods, or refuse them all and face the consequences. Will you earn favor from the goddess of love, or make the god of war your protector? Can you escape a watery death without divine intervention? When you finally learn the truth of your destiny, will you overthrow the ones who made you? Or will you become the champion of the gods? We have a title. Alright, first part of the game for free. Let's do. Where's the let's do button? The let's do button. The Call of Destiny. You wake in darkness, stirred from sleep by a sound like thunder. Sitting up, you can hear breathing and the heavy beating of your heart. Apart from that, the night is quiet. Was it only a dream? You look at the chamber around you. Moonlight bleeds through the shutters. You can just barely discern the clay walls and the forms of your other family members. Alert and awake like you, they are waiting. The noise is louder when it returns. A long rumbling howl, inhuman to be sure, but brimming with rage. Whatever it is, it must be at the edge of the village. And now, it is joined by the plaintive moan of the sentinel's horns, the alarm. You feel your father spring to his feet, the earthen floor shaking beneath you. He throws open the window in the entryway to let in more of the moonlight. Clasping his tunic over his shoulder, he takes his spear in hand and readies himself to face an unknown enemy. As Archon of your village, he is no stranger to the task. Your mother dons her chiton, already whispering the prayers to Sonus that will bring the warrior's strength. You have seen your parents prepared this way many times, whenever there is danger. Until now, you have always watched them go in silence, but tonight is different. Tonight you feel certain that you must fight by their side. You rise to join them, gathering your cloak. You reach for the spade, hoping to use it as a weapon, but your father stays your hand. Not you. You are brave, child, but you are not of age. You glance into the darkness. Your younger sibling watches you closely, no doubt perturbed by the thought of being left alone. Yet you are sure the little one would come to no harm, just as you are sure that you are needed at the edge of the village. Your mother smiles at you warmly as she steps into the night. She does not have to tell you what she expects you to do. There's firmness in her eyes. You look at your father. He too expects your obedience, but a force greater than either of you is guiding your hand. What will you do? Let's pretend. You skulk back to your mat and sit there. There are children twice my age who could barely be trusted to reap what wheat at harvest time, you pout. I only ask that you let me show you what I can do. Your father's face betrays his pride. The time will come when you are ready to fulfill your ambition. But that time is not yet at hand. Your father waits for you to return to your mat. He does not leave until he has seen you sit down beside your young sibling and stay there. Then he is gone. You can hear people running through the village, past your door. You can feel the excitement and the danger beyond the walls. When you are sure enough time has gone by, you begin making your way towards the door. A young voice calls across the room. Big brother, where are you going? You turn to your young brother Proclus. Take one look into his eyes and decide. Alright, to leave on the pretense that my father has forgotten something, because I'm a liar. The truth will only upset your brother. Worry not, Proclus, you say. I will be gone but a few moments. I have noticed that our father has forgotten... You search the room for something light to carry and grab an old grain sash.
This. What does our father need with a grain while he's in battle?
The child inquires. You gotta help but be impressed by your brother's inquisitiveness.
Father has told me that the sash brings him luck, you say quickly. Never mind now. Lie back on your mat. I will be back to tell you a story in a few moments.
You feel a little guilty about observing how your brother does exactly as he's told. He does not even notice as you take up the spade on your way out the door. The village that you run through is empty. Most of the people have remained in their homes, waiting for the trouble to pass. As for the sentinels, you can hear them at the wall. You let the sound of the commotion pull you forward. You feel that the decision to disobey your father was not really yours. Even so, you tell yourself that it was a choice when you made because... I feel the crushing weight of destiny. You are tired of waiting to taste the excitement of combat. Tonight, all that will change. You are sure of it. You arrive at the edge of the village. Your father is already here. He's ordered his sentinels into a defensive position. Their spears are raised in a long row, facing the high mound of stone that is your village wall. Father orders the fighters into second position, and the edges of their weapons tilt toward the coming enemy. You can hear a raging creature outside the wall, ready to come in, but it has not shown itself yet. Farther back, your mother prays with the other attendants of Sonus. Their low murmur swells to confront another unearthly cry. Some of the attendants carry torches, hoping to provide light for the battle, but these seem only to throw more shadows. Suddenly, a length of the wall begins to topple. Stones come crashing down, burying themselves in the soft soil, and the monster tumbles over with them. It glistens in the moonlight, the hairs on its back like tiny spears. You just barely recognize that it is a boar, the size of which you have never seen. You are intrigued. The sentinels advance. A female warrior leaps out of formation to stab the boar's neck, but is swept aside with a single turn of its head. A young man comes forward now to break its hide with his spear. Before he can, he is gored by the beast's tusk and thrown clear, bleeding into the dust. The sentinels pull his body clear of the fight, and a priestess runs to his side. You know that by the time the night is over, many will fall to this beast. It is impossibly fast and impossibly strong, yet you know that you will defeat it. You step forward, scrambling ahead of the sentinel's formation. Your father, bewildered, cries your name. I like Thelon. Thelon, he calls, horrified that his son is facing the beast alone. But you will show him there's nothing to fear, because you know that you are. Oh, I'm quick. You dart ahead of the creature and wave your spade, getting its attention, drawing its fury. It lowers its tusk and charges, hoping to gore you. You feint left, then right. You are astounded by the quickness of your movements. It is as though your very limbs are strands of lightning. You cannot recall ever being this fast, but perhaps it is a power you never needed before. Again, you let the boar charge you, and again you slip away. Finally, you can feel that its anger has bonded the beast to you. The monster will follow you anywhere now, and you know just where to take it. Drown its ass. The boar remains close on your heels as you leap the ruined wall and sprint ahead to the edge of the village stream. Still swollen from the winter rains, it rages menacingly. By the end of summer, it will have dried to a trickle, but tonight it is deadly. You bound across to the other side, where you turn and await the coming of the boar. A moment later, it comes tumbling through the moonlit valley, moving with a furious momentum. From its blazing eyes, it is plain enough that your death has become its very purpose. Too heavy to leap over the stream after you, the beast plunges into it, trying to push its way through the water. It is barely able to bring itself halfway across. A surge of foam cascades over its side, and its muscles grow rigid. Finally, the doomed creature rolls downstream like a great log, disappearing from sight in moments. It will likely drown before it gains its footing. Even if it doesn't, it will think twice about bothering your village again. Excited by your triumph, you hop back across the stream and run to the village. Your mother runs forward and embraces you, grateful to look into your eyes once more. "You are a fool," she wails, tears flowing down her cheeks as she holds you close. "A fool!" Over her shoulder you see the Archon, your father. He stands dumbstruck among the other villagers. His eyes follow you as though you were a stranger. The other villagers stand behind him at a distance. They are muttering to each other. They look back and forth between you and your father, as though they are afraid of him suddenly. This is not how you imagined you would be received after such a triumph. What's the matter? When you return home, your brother crosses his arms in frustration and runs forward to confront you.
"Thelon, you were supposed to tell me a story."
As he draws closer, his face tightens and his nose crinkles.
"Brother, why do you smell so bad?"
"Back to your place and sleep, Proclus," your father barks. Proclus slouches to his corner, and your mother's eyes narrow at your father's anger. He seems to notice her disapproving look, though he does not return it. He pours water into a bowl and drinks deep. When he speaks, his eyes watch the earth beneath your mother's feet, not her face. It was one of the great boars, he says to no one in particular. Perhaps the Temach are harvesting their piglets again. We are left to reap the wrath of the full grown. No mention of your great deed. Not even a note of thanks. No joy or pride in his eyes. At last, he casts a glance at your mother, but there's no love in it, and the look she returns is just as cold. You lay on your mat and try to sleep, your young mind wondering what your actions today could have possibly done to make your father so angry. Perhaps I've frightened the village. You can only hope that you are wrong. You awaken early the next morning, but your troubled thoughts do not allow you to return to sleep. You keep your eyes closed anyway, lying still and listening. You hear your father leave without a word to begin repairing the wall. You hear the washwomen collect parochials for the day. Finally, your mother stirs you. You cannot fool me, Thelon. I know you are awake. Rise, for it is time for your lessons. Upon your arrival on the hilltop, the other children cheer you unanimously. They have already heard of the tales of your victory over the boar, and they know a hero when they see one. They challenge you to race against them to the bottom of the hill and back, but you are back to the top again before most have been halfway down. You feel powerful indeed. Finally, your instructor, Riakos, arrives. The reeds of discipline in his hand are a sure sign that today's fun is at an end. Yet you find it difficult to focus on your lessons today. Your thoughts are restless. Besides, there seems to be something happening in the village below.
Look, they are gathering,
whispers Hethikos, poking you and pointing down the hill. He's your favorite classmate, but he can be a terrible busybody, always sticking his nose into everyone else's business.
See how many people have taken to the streets? I bet the others are being called to council. And look, over there, Thelon, it's your father. They must have called him, too.
Hethikos is right. Your father is amongst the villagers now converging on the chambers of judgment. The other villagers seem to be giving him a wide berth. The commotion in the streets is... No concern of mine at the moment. I must focus on my lessons. You quiet your mind and allow the words of Riakos to soothe you. The lesson relates to the measurement of liquids. You watch Riakos pouring large cups of stream water into smaller ones and out again into larger ones. You ask the class to guess when they will overflow. You guess correctly twice. As for Hethikos, he continues to watch the town, lost in the commotion. He's so captivated that he does not even notice when Riakos stops the lesson and raps him on the back with his reeds. But such is always the way with that one. When the sun begins to settle in the western sky, your lessons draw to a close, and you begin your descent to the village with the other children. You're only halfway down the hill when you hear Riakos' voice again.
Thelon, please return and wait with me.
The children turn and follow your eyes. Atop the hill, one of the council's attendants is standing behind your teacher.
It is the decree of the elders that you visit with Megardos tonight. I will bring you to him at sundown.
Megardos. Everyone knows that name. The old man who lives in the hut at the eastern edge of the village and dresses like a foreign king. The adults say he's a healer, but the other children have another name for him. You can hear Hethikos whispering it under his breath now.
A sorcerer.
For your part, I am sure that those who think Megardos is a sorcerer are merely unaccustomed to his ways. You are sure Megardos is surely a knowledgeable old man. You cannot even trust that he is a mystic, let alone a sorcerer. Riakos brings you to his hut at sundown. It is a ramshackle structure made of bundled twigs. He knocks on the door. That old man appears. He is draped in an elaborate robe, like those worn at festivals. His white beard betrays his age, though you suppose he must be proud of it, for it is braided and ends in 3 opal beads.
And this must be Thelon. Come in, come in. I hope the council hasn't worried you too much. I have only to ask you a few questions tonight, and you will be off to your family again. Come in, come in.
You enter alone. His hut seems almost larger on the inside, though some of it is filled with strange objects. Figurines with long arms and dark eyes, plates painted with images of great winged hounds, bowls with snakes' faces for handles. You are reminded of the Temple of Sodas, with its many offerings of thanks to the god. But the images on the objects are strange to you.
These are from the eastern lands, Megardos says, noticing your attention to his wares. Depictions of their gods. They are gifts from my friends.
He gestures to his cloak proudly.
This is a gift, too. It was given to me by the Ka himself. A most interesting man, the Ka. Most generous for one so powerful, though you can be quite fussy to tell the truth. Ah, well, I suppose it comes from being the car.
Megaros looks at you as though he's forgotten you were there.
But I am being such a rude host. You must be famished. Please help yourself to fruit.
He gestures to a lacquered bowl. It is filled with grapes. You begin eating them, and the old man smiles.
I am only relieved that you trust my hospitality. I have heard the other children think me a sorcerer.
Let's be honest.
Indeed, the other children.
But your words end there. You are simply not accustomed to simply speaking truthfully to adults. It has never been your way.
The old man laughs. Oh, worry not, my child. You need not break the trust of your fellows. Only know that I am no sorcerer. I am merely a healer by craft, and I wield no magic. There have been no sorcerers in Agossa since the end of the First Age.
You wait until you have had your fill to speak again.
Now, I must admit I have many questions for you tonight. Before I start asking them, do you perhaps have a question for me?
Why have the elders called me here?
A direct question, to be sure. The elders have called you here because you did a great thing last night, and they would like me to find out a little more about you. That is the simple truth, my child. Now have a seat.
You find one of the few places not covered in artifacts, and sit down.
So tell me of your battle, child. There's talk of your prowess all over the village. What was it like fighting the great boar?
It was thrilling indeed to best that beast.
Such a choleric humor. I am not surprised.
You've never heard these strange words before, and I have no notion how to respond to them. Sensing the confusion in your silence, Megaros continues.
I was referring to the humor of your soul, my boy. Its mood, its character. Now tell me, how did you know that you could outrun the boar? Did someone tell you that you would be fast enough?
It is a question you had not thought of before. In truth, you had no knowledge of your power before you used it. You tell Megaros so. He ruminates over your response for a few moments.
In that case, I have another question for you. It may seem frivolous, but I assure you it is quite important.
Megaros peers inquisitively into your eyes and fixes his gaze there hard, as though he is daring you to lie.
Where do you go when you dream? He asks.
This is a strange question, to be sure, but you can feel from Megaros' voice that he is very serious.
Is there perhaps a place where you have been many times? A place that you dream about over and over again?
You look back upon your dreams. You've been to so many strange places in them, it seems impossible to name them all. But indeed, there's one place you have dreamed of more than any other. You say, I like the building on the mountaintop.
I dreamed of a great building on a mountaintop shaped like a half moon.
Megaros nods.
You describe the oracle, he says.
But I've never been there. I've never known anyone who's seen it.
Perhaps it is a premonition. They are not as unusual as you might think. Tell me, have you never dreamed of a great city in the sky, shining like sunlight and white as a cloud, with many tall people in it, shining too like the city?
You shrug. It is the first you have heard of such a place.
Come to the table, then. There is another way.
Across the room, there's a table with two small chairs. On the table is a bowl and a shiny bronze knife. You sit at the table. Megaros sits across from you.
Give me your hand, he says.
Ask why he wants my hand.
I must now shed some of your blood, child. Only a few drops of it, I assure you, to perform a simple test. Now give me your hand. It will only hurt for a moment.
Why am I being so tested, you ask?
The elders have some questions about your newfound power, Megaros says. The answers are in your blood.
He speaks these words with a finality that indicates he will tell you no more.
Now, shall I make the cut, or will you prefer to make it yourself?
I should face my fears. Make the cut myself.
With power such as mine, I can no longer think of myself as a child. I must make the cut myself.
Very well.
You take the blood from your thumb. It clings thickly to the blade.
That will be enough, Megaros says. Now come with me.
On the night of the Great Boar's attack, the moon was nearly full. It is even brighter now, as Megaros holds up the blade to it. The cool light makes your blood look like a shadow. Megaros regards this and breathes a sigh of relief.
Nothing. Why, it barely even reflects.
looks down at you and smiles reassuringly. You have passed the test, child. Your blood would be glowing white in the moonlight if you were a child of a god. But see, your blood is as dull as dust. Now we know for sure you are immortal. That is good news indeed. Why, you ask, more than a little disappointed. You can think of 1,000 reasons why it would be exciting to be the child of a god. Megardos looks at you with amusement, as though your question has betrayed your youth. It is good news, but it means the Archon is your father. Finally, you understand, not only why you are here, but why your father has been so angry since last night, and so changed toward your family. Seeing your great power on display, he thought you might not belong to him, that you might not be his son at all, and that your mother... Suddenly, your thoughts explode with 1,000 questions for Megardos, but one of them is foremost in your mind, and that is the question you asked him. I'm not the child of a god. Where does my power come from? It is a gift from the Weavers, Megardos says, and one best not question. The Weavers? Powerful gods who decide human fates. They are masters of destiny itself. But come now, we must return to your family. They will want to know what we have discovered. Your father and mother await your return in the doorway. As you draw closer, they read the good news in Megardos' face. Your father begins to smile for the first time since the previous evening. Greet them, Megardos tells you. Greet your family, child. He gives you a nudge on your shoulder and sends you running into their arms. Your father's hold is almost desperate, as though he thought he had lost you and has found you once more. Even so, it is many days before your mother will speak to him again. His sudden coldness to her and to you, her son, has left a mark in her mind that is not soon erased. Every night you hear him whispering sweet words to her in the darkness, trying to win her back. He seems to fear her anger in a way that she did not fear his, and perhaps, in the end, this is what wins her over. One morning, some weeks later, you do not know how, but they are back the way they were. They speak to each other with ease. They smile together, their eyes meet. Love has returned to them again, and your father has been forgiven. Remain shocked that my father could have been so cruel to my mother. How could your father have turned on your mother in this way? Can there be real love between them if he could bring himself to doubt her so? You have seen a side of him that you'll never forget, and you may never be able to look at him the same way again. I didn't think it would be that bad. It was... Still, your future is unquestionably bright. You have uncovered a great power. There's no denying it. You have only to wait to discover where it will take you. I don't know why I mangled that last sentence. But you get the idea. You get powers, fight a boar. You may or may not be the son of a god. Maybe some of the paths go that far. But that seems to be most of the first part. I'm not going to do the 2-year jump here because we've been going for a while already. But yeah. If this seems to be your jam, it's $3 on Steam for the full one. With what was it, 217 or 127,000 words or something? A lot of words here. Jonathan Valukas put in work. So, yeah. Well-written story. I haven't run into any grammatical errors. He remembered to proofread. And there are achievements. So really, if you've got the time to read it, can you really go wrong? Thanks for stopping by and watching this video. If you'd like to like, comment, and or subscribe, by all means, do so. If not, don't feel pressured. If you're looking for more new content, click the right thumbnail. If you're looking for more old content, click the left thumbnail or go rifling around in the many playlists we have on this channel. You can also check out nanDEMOnai.com for written work, stream highlights, and a slightly more organized batch of playlists from this channel. It's where all my gaming related stuff goes. Twitch.tv/nanDEMOnai is where I stream every day, and you can follow that for more content all of the time. There's also my Twitter account where you can catch my inane ramblings on a day-to-day basis. And if you'd like to support me doing more of these videos, more streaming, and more pretty much surviving, by all means, please click that Patreon link. Every little bit helps.